Many years ago, early in my career, I had a boss who kept a peculiar statue on her desk. On one side, it was Glenda the Good Witch. The other, the Wicked Witch of the West. Each day, she'd turn it to reflect her mood. One day, she called me into her office. I sat down, and sure enough, the Wicked Witch was looking directly at me. She began by telling me that my team had just won the President's Award of Excellence. This was a huge honor and came with a cash award. But she quickly added, "However, I'm not giving you the award." I was stunned. I was the team lead. Confused, I asked her, "Can you help me understand why?" She dismissed me, waving me off like I didn't matter. And so I left her office, feeling completely small and unworthy. However, it didn't end there. The next day, I did something bold. I went to her boss and asked what had gone wrong. This, as it turns out, was a big mistake. She called me back into her office. This time, the Wicked Witch was practically teetering on the edge of her desk. As I sat down, she exploded in rage, screaming, yelling, "How dare you? Who do you think you are to question my decision?" I remember as if it was yesterday, I felt frozen in the chair, completely humiliated and powerless. And as she continued berating me, I could feel hot tears streaming down my face, and all I wanted to do was run and hide. This is what I call one of my first workplace bumper car moments, the moment when I collided hard with the realization that someone else's actions could completely crush my sense of worth, leaving me unbalanced and spiraling into a pit of painful emotions. These are those moments that happen at work when we either crash into someone or someone crashes into us. You always know if it's a bumper car moment because there's an emotional charge related to it. And you and I both know these moments happen at work all the time. You're missed for a promotion. Somebody undermines you in a meeting. You receive unfair feedback. We're left feeling vulnerable and upset. And for many of us, these moments trigger old patterns of people-pleasing, perfectionism, and self-doubt. But what if we were to use these bumper car moments rather than to tear us down, but actually to help us break through limiting beliefs we carry about ourselves? What if we could transform these crashes into opportunities for growth? The truth is, many of us carry old wounds from childhood that still influence how we behave at work. In fact, the research shows that nearly 2/3 of us experience some form of adversity growing up. And when these triggers get activated, when we feel ignored, disrespected, or unwanted at work, it's like throwing gasoline on a fire. We are caught in the cycle of reacting in the same old way, feeling emotionally drained and thinking we're not good enough. But bumper car moments actually give us a chance to reframe our reactions and take back control of how we respond. As I think about my career, my 36-year career, which I'm incredibly grateful for, I am struck by how much of my time and energy was spent believing I had to prove myself. My limiting belief, that constant voice in my head telling me I wasn't good enough, fueled my career success. But I am telling you, this is a destructive and dysfunctional way to live. Many of us overachieving perfectionists end up using unhealthy self-soothing habits to take the edge off those painful emotions. In fact, my good friend for many years was my dear Chardonnay, especially during my regular put myself down sessions. And sure, I believe I could have accomplished the same thing, but I could have done it without all the pain and suffering. And I am very grateful to be sober now for 20 years. You see, I had a father who, as I got older, he seemed to get angrier. And without realizing it, I internalized the belief that my worth was determined by everybody else, especially men in authority. And it became my mission to be as perfect and pleasing as possible, chasing that validation. But here's the deal. I was completely clueless to how much my past was influencing everything for me at work, how I interpreted other people, how I reacted to them, and how I felt about myself. And honestly, I realize now that this was completely an unconscious attempt to create predictability, to feel safe, and to make sense out of my world. Maybe you also came from a challenging childhood. My response to the Wicked Witch was the same response I had when my dad flew into a rage. I blamed myself. I felt I deserved to get into trouble, and also believed that no matter what I did, it would never be enough. Imagine the costs of thousands and thousands of these bumper car moments happening in our workplaces every single day. Distraction, overwhelm, burnout, exhaustion. Now imagine the workplace as a laboratory for healing, where we support one another in being more self-aware and compassionate. And I have 3 simple steps from my book that I'd like to share with you that you can implement today. Number 1, track your bumper car moments. Pay attention to what's happening to you at work. Write it all down. When we do that, we can start to recognize our patterns, and doing so is a first step in becoming self-aware, which enables growth. Number 2, ask yourself, am I sure? The next time you feel upset at work. This simple, powerful question can change everything. It begins to change how we think internally, the dialogue we have going on in our own head. For example, if your manager looks angry, a lot of us have distorted thoughts. We might think, oh, I must have done something wrong. Am I sure? Well, what's the most compassionate way I can respond? Maybe my boss is just having a bad day. And number 3, practice compassion. I challenge you, for the next 5 days, each day do one thing that's kind to yourself. When we do this, we're basically practicing the positive psychology research. When we focus on positive things, we improve the quality of our life. And for extra credit, do something kind for someone else, especially someone who needs it. This is what Dr. Carl Rogers calls unconditional positive regard. And so as I look back at that Wicked Witch moment, I can see now how much my reaction was directly related to my past. I walked into that room already believing I wasn't good enough. And when she started screaming, it triggered all of my old wounds. But if I were to face that situation today, I would recognize that her behavior was about her. I would take a deep breath, I'd stay calm, and I would consciously choose a thoughtful response rather than letting my unconscious triggered reaction take over. And maybe, just maybe, we can find some inspiration from Glinda the Good Witch, who always believed in the power that was in Dorothy was there all along. That is the key. We all have the power within us. We just need to access it in the middle of our own bumper car moments. As Glinda said to Dorothy, you are capable of more than you know. Thank you.